Imagine Michael Jackson owning the Avengers, not as a joke, but as something that almost happened. Michael Jackson didn't just dominate music, he dominated imagination. By the late 80s and early 90s, he wasn't just a performer anymore, he was a world builder. Every project he touched wasn't just entertainment, it was a fully designed experience. But why would the biggest entertainer in the world be connected to a comic book company? To understand that, you have to understand what Marvel was during that time. Because before billion-dollar movies, before the MCU, before global dominance, Marvel was struggling just to stay alive. In fact, they were selling off film rights to their characters just to keep their company running. In the 1990s, Marvel wasn't a global empire. It was a company going through financial collapse, restructuring, and instability. They weren't looking for expansion, they were looking for survival. And when companies reach that point in Hollywood, they don't just attract investors, they attract visionaries. Reports and industry talk suggest that Michael Jackson was interested in Marvel-related properties. Nothing was finalized, but the idea existed strong enough that it became part of Hollywood rumor history. And one character kept coming up again and again: Spider-Man. Wait, just stop for a second and picture this. Michael Jackson in a boardroom talking about Spider-Man, not as a comic book, but as a role, a world, a transformation. It sounds like a movie script, but in that moment in history, it was almost reality. Spider-Man wasn't random. He represents identity shifting, dual life, emotional expression, movement as storytelling. And that overlaps with how Michael Jackson saw performance. Not just entertainment, but transformation. But here's where it gets more interesting, because this isn't the first time Michael Jackson stepped into a world like this. Long before Marvel rumors, he already created something that kind of looked like a prototype. And that project was Captain EO, a futuristic Disney production where he plays a space traveler, bringing emotion back to a dark world. But what most people don't realize is who was behind it. So this wasn't a small experiment. Michael Jackson was already working with some of the most influential sci-fi creators in history, which makes Marvel feel a lot less random and a lot more intentional. So when people hear Michael Jackson and Marvel, it kind of sounds like a rumor. But when you break it down, it follows a pattern. A global entertainer who builds visual worlds, who studies storytelling, who collaborates with film legends, and thinks in transformation, exploring one of the biggest fictional universes in comics. The reality is simple. Marvel went through corporate changes and eventually became the modern Marvel Empire. At the same time, Michael Jackson stayed focused on music, touring, and global performance. The timelines never aligned, so the idea never became reality. But imagine for a second, if Marvel in its early state had merged with that kind of imagination. We might be talking about superhero storytelling decades earlier, a version shaped by one of the most visually creative performers in history. What makes this story so interesting isn't whether it fully happened or not, it's what it reveals about Michael Jackson. He didn't just think in songs, he thought in worlds. And sometimes those worlds brushed up against reality in ways most people will never even realize. So what do you think? Would you have liked to have seen Michael Jackson own Marvel and if given the chance, play the role of Spider-Man? Let me know down in the comments. I want to hear your take. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe for more stories about Michael Jackson, movies, gaming, and pop culture. And share this with somebody who might find the story just as wild as I did. Thank you guys for watching. Until the next one, peace.